Be where you are. Sometimes we imagine that we've got to move to a different space. We've got to make something happen. We've got to change something about ourselves or our circumstances in order to feel peace. In order to feel like all is well, we need something to happen. But I'd like to propose that nothing must change for you to have peace with God. The scripture says, "Be still and know that I am God." Sometimes in our struggling and our striving and our efforts to do even great things for God, we forget that all is well when He is on the throne. And for Him to be on the throne of our hearts, we simply surrender to His will, moment by moment. He wants us to be present day by day, moment by moment, trusting Him at the present time. When Moses was going to deliver the people of Israel from Egypt, he was visited by God in the form of a burning bush, and he was a little taken aback by the visitation. He asked God, how would he let the people know who sent him? And God's response to Moses was a little surprising, at least to me, when God says, "Tell them I am sent you. I am that I am." Kind of a surprising thing because it doesn't really express any of God's glory or grandeur, His power or His promises. It simply refers to the fact that God is present in the now. I think a lot of my struggle is living in regret by looking back at the past, or living in fear or frustration about what I see coming in the future. But I'm learning little by little to be where I am, to live in this moment, to be present to what God has for me in this moment. I think one of the beautiful things about salvation is that we come to God just as we are. Like the old song that says, "Just as I am, without one plea, but that thy blood was shed for me. Just as I am, I come." That joy can be ours any moment that we realize that our acceptance by God does not depend on our promoting something within ourselves or producing something. It's simply the promise that He loves us just as we are. There's an old Chinese saying, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Another way, though, to translate that same proverb is that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the ground under your feet. It's kind of ironic that for us to make progress, for us to get better and to grow, we have to start with where we are. And I think it's a mistake for us to think that we can only find joy once we get the goal or reach the destination. No, joy is in the journey. And it begins when we accept that God has us just as we are, just where we are. Nothing needs to change for you to have peace with God.